King fixing to leave right about now. Whoa, what up, everybody? Solo Josh show. Deuces Ace King, I guess. What's going on, people? Solo Josh tonight. 2-game slate. Give everybody else the night. Let them enjoy a night on their own. I'll cover everybody. Don't worry. We had no need to double up today. Fast Eddie's got a hell of a 2 or 3 week stretch coming up. We've got so many games coming over the next 2-3 weeks. A little offset. So it's a little easier to just fly solo. What's up, Kicks Good? What's up, everybody? Sorry for clearing my throat here. We are obviously going to get through both of these games with very, very effort. Solo Josh is good if he's drinking wine. Dun, 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 dun. Ex Cossack, you nailed it, man. Am I that predictable now? What's going on, everybody? You know the drill for right now. Live Before Lock is the promo code. 50% off your first month with us. Only for monthly packages. And you could use it on any package you choose. So if it includes Fantasy Cruncher, that'll work as well. Don't be afraid to use that promo code. Sign up with us. Get some of our stuff. Ownership projections, regular projections, rankings. We've got it all. Come check it out. Premium Slack. Can't beat it. We just started a feature yesterday in our premium Slack called Office Hours. We started a channel and everybody involved, myself, Adam, Laffy. Yesterday was Ben. I don't know why I said Laffy's name like that, but Laffy. Yesterday, Ben did an hour of just Q&A, basically like an AMA channel. And it's going to be with all of the contributors from Osimo. So we'll just take questions from the premium Slack and ask whatever you want and dig into some more high-level stuff that we don't normally get to on shows. It's a really cool feature. I think Jake did one tonight before the NHL show, but everybody's going to be doing them shortly. So come check it out. I'm trying to catch up with YouTube chat. I would love to tell you all the winning players so we can all win tonight. Be honest, not a lot has changed since this morning. I have made very little tweaks to my projections since the morning. Nothing's changed. We haven't gotten any news. It's just mostly the changes in the lines and a couple minutes tweaks here and there. That's where I stand. I have my, let's see, I just ran a FanDuel crunch. I need to edit that a bit, so let's do that now. I have a DraftKings crunch in, and I have placeholders set, so we could take a look at that in a little bit. We'll hit on both games once I get both of these loaded and get my exposures, and we can talk about where they stand and if we need to make any changes. So 2, 6, 10, 14, 18, 22, 26, 30. There we go. What do I think of Corey Joseph? Corey Joseph is not someone that I'm really looking at. He really needs the additional minutes of someone like Tyreek being out. So he's not a guy that I'm really looking at. Do you drink anything with your dry cereal? Sounds like dry cereal would make you thirsty. Good callback to this morning's show. Honestly, probably as weird as this sounds, probably a glass of milk. I mean, you guys gotta understand. I probably haven't had a bowl of cereal in 10 years. Like, I don't think I've had any since I've moved to North Carolina. It's just not something that I normally eat. I don't really eat breakfast a lot. It's just mostly coffee. So this is more of a back in the day thing. But if I were to eat cereal, it would be dry. I assume I would have a glass of milk. Am I playing tonight? Rodney Washington, of course I'm playing. If I weren't playing, you're not convincing me to do a show. That much I could tell you. See if the Slack crazies are doing anything. I don't even think the Slack crazies know I'm doing anything. Post the link. Jesus, is still cereal day. What's up, Josh? Thad or Collison on DK? Thad. Thad for sure. Okay, so I've got most of my lineups here. I mean, if I were going to take a flyer on either Noel or Pau Gasol, it would definitely be Noel. Oh, God. What else we got coming in here? Dry cereal low-key got more taste. Something like that. I'm just weird. I was a really picky eater as a kid. Now, not so much. Cereal is a good stoner snack. Yeah, that's my problem. I can't have stuff here. So Costco makes these really good, like relatively low carb protein bars. Like, you know, only a couple grams of carbs, lots of protein. I don't mind the taste. One's cookie dough, one's like some chocolate something or other. But the cookie dough one is like that's like my go-to late night snack right now. I live in North Carolina. Yes, Matthew J. Okay, FanDuel Crunch is in. Let's take a look, see what we get out of it. Then we can hit on each game and have a little bit of a bigger conversation. Can't trust a man willing to scrape the inside of his mouth with dry cereal. I don't really blame you. I have very little interest in Enes Kanter. I had to like limit him a little bit. Right now, I'm equal to the field, but I'm not okay with that. That'll be something that I'll change. It's just not a direction that I want to go. Not if everyone's already doing it. That's more of somewhere where I'd like to be over the field at a low number than be with the field at a number that I think is too high. Brian, I'm in Wilmington. Okay, so FanDuel Crunch is in. Let's sort lineups. Oh, by the way, two things that I think you should check out. One, I'm going to plug myself. What else is new? On the site right now, I have posted the update to the Bankroll Challenge. My results over the past week since I posted last Thursday. But that's not all that important. What you really want to check out is right here. Spags wrote an article, Keys to the NBA DFS, 12 Tips to Improve. It's a really, really thorough look at sort of the basics of NBA DFS. It's fantastic. It's a really good read. I highly, highly recommend you guys go check that out. If you go to the website, awesomeo.com, you'll find it pretty quickly on the homepage. So go check it out. So it's really good. So shout out Spags. Zach Jameson, if playing one line on DK, how would you do it? Late game stack, balanced. I would imagine that I'd be relatively balanced. I have, spoiler alert right now, on DraftKings, 3% Giannis, 1% Russ. Don't freak out, everybody. Don't freak out. You read it, but it's too long. I think you're missing the point there, buddy. CLA 935. I don't know why I said it like that. Chris, now I'm playing FanDuel and DraftKings tonight. We'll go over my exposures and everything as I go through the show. I'm still just lining up everything for FanDuel. Let's say 90% max. Fuck, I hate Excel. There we go. Oh, yeah, also, whoever is in chat did a great job of just pasting in the link. I don't know why I didn't think about doing that. It might just be Chris. So if it is, great move. If it's Brett or Tom or Emac, thank you. That's way smarter than me just talking about it and making someone do it. Didn't even cross my mind that I could put that link there. I don't know who you're calling a Cowboys fan, but it's not me. Yeah, I'm going to start mixing up the backgrounds. I like the lasers. Went back to the old school Child's idea. Could you play Harkless and Aminu in the same lineup? Yeah, I don't really see a reason why you couldn't. How did I not get that maximized? That makes no sense. Find out. Jason, nice top 3 last night. I actually got 4th. But I appreciate it. Thanks, Chris. I assume the link was on either Emac or Brett. Badger and Bournemouth fan, can we have an update on how the DK bankroll is going? Yeah, you can go check out the article. I posted it today. I did a month recap last week. I did a week recap from this past week. And this past week was the best week I've had so far. No crazy takedowns or anything like that. The best finishes I had were in the smaller quarter tournaments. But I was up 11% last week. If I run out of stuff to talk about, consider 5 minutes on tiers. And you guys don't want to see me open up my tiers sheet and give you all the percentages, do you? No, I hate the Eagles and the Cowboys equally. Wrong again. Oh, it's probably Tom. I assume it's Tom. Josh drinks with the pinky out. Do I? Good eye. That's not intentional. Alrighty, here we go. What do we got? So, first FanDuel crunch is in. I have not looked at any of my exposures yet. But at first glance, 32% Giannis, 2% Russ, 62% Paul George. What that is telling me is that I am not very high on Russell Westbrook today, and that scares the living poop out of me because Russell Westbrook is, well, he's Russell Westbrook, and that scares me. And shout out to me for calling him Russell Westbrook twice there and not calling him Russell Wilson. Apparently, I'm getting better at my job. Had to happen eventually, I guess. Thoughts on Mirotic? We'll get there. We'll get there, Jay Goods. Alrighty, so yeah, what we're looking at right now in column BJ, we'll ignore that for a second. Those would be my exposures. We take a look to see, and this is exactly what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis. This is who I'm most over the field on. This is who I'm least over the field on, or most under the field, I guess would be the correct way to say that. So, quite a bit of Thad Young in my life tonight. I'm okay with it. But what I want to do is try to figure out guys that I'm over the field on that I think I should be under on. Terrence Ferguson is the first guy that stands. Okay, well, technically speaking, Seth Curry is the first guy that stands out. Positive in this column, negative in this column. It's just an eyeball test. However, I don't care about guys that are under 4K in this scenario. So Curry gets thrown in the garbage. Terrence Ferguson gets thrown in the garbage. Only guy that I'm over the field on right here, Markieff Morris, gets thrown in the garbage. So I'm not over the field on anybody that I don't want to be. My original crunch has no tie to expected ownership. So right now, everything is working out the way that I would want it to. I'm probably a little higher on Cantor on FanDuel than I would like to be. So what I'm going to do is adjust that number down. I'm going to cap myself at 20 lineups of Cantor. And then what else do I have? Under on everybody else down here, no real issue with it. So let's just re-optimize and go. Might be able to just take what we get. Pivot off of Westbrook. I mean, on FanDuel, it's different because of the forced positional stuff. I don't feel bad about not being there. DK, he's just too expensive compared to the rest of the slate, in my opinion. That doesn't mean that he can't go out and smash and leave me dead in the water, but today's not the day. What kind of wine? I'm not like brand or type. I don't know the answer to either of those. I can get that answer if you want. I can hear my wife outside. Hey, baby. Hey, wife. She can't hear me. Not important. All right, so those are these are my exposures. They're in now. This is official. Official for right now. Lots of Thad Young. He's the guy that I'm most over the field on. Couldn't be happier about it. Miles over the field on Tyreek Evans. Again, not a problem to me. I don't mind whatsoever. He's 3,500. I want to spend my extra money on other people. So I don't mind that one. I don't mind the Seth Curry. I don't mind Jake Layman. All of that stuff doesn't matter to me on FanDuel. So I'm going to go ahead and enter these in. If you read the bankroll article that I posted today, I talked a little about my lineup selection process, and you're seeing the fruits of that labor on the screen right now. If you don't know what I'm talking about, why aren't you reading my article to check it out? That's the most important thing. Wow. Enes Kanter in my top lineup right now. What a world. What a world. How has Thad Young done in the past against Giannis? Cossack, you know I don't know the answer to that. Upload template. I don't want to sound like Ray Romano, guys, but apparently I do. Shout out to the Magic article poster on the part of Osimo. Because he doesn't understand links. All right, now I'm getting trolled. PG, Russell Westbrook, Lillard in the same lineup for me. Yeah, but good luck with that one, man. I can only imagine what the rest of the guys on your team look like. Did I already copy that? I certainly did. Okay, so right now I have all of my lineups in. It's really nice on a 2-game slate because everybody loves Josh Engelman. That's good. Take a look at everything now. So, Bucks Pacers. The line has moved a little bit. It's like 3 points higher than it was, or the total is 3 points higher than it was this morning. But Bucks 10-point favorites. Every exposure that you see on the screen right now is current for me. This is my exposure. Column Y or column AE, depending on the site. Column Z is our expected ownership. So right now, I have quite a bit of Giannis on FanDuel. I'm okay with it. Quite a bit of Middleton and Bledsoe as well. I have rules to take care of those guys. And then I'm just scattered through Brolo and Brogdon, Mirotic, Connaughton, Tony Snell. On DK, Connaughton getting a lot of love at 3,200. Not a guy that I got to with all that much regularity. Similarly, Mirotic at 20%. I only have 1%. So DraftKings for me, Mirotic is not a guy that I have my eye on. I'm clearly way under the field on Giannis at 11-2. Lots of Chris Middleton, double the field right now. I'm over the field on Bledsoe as well. So if you're talking Milwaukee, in summary, guys I like the most on FanDuel, Giannis, Middleton, Bledsoe. That should come as no surprise. I have the most Bledsoe. Giannis and Middleton are basically tied. On DraftKings, Middleton is my clear guy that I have. Close to double the field. I am fading Giannis, and I'm slightly above the field on Bledsoe. The rest of the team I'm quite a bit under on. So if anybody has any Bucks questions right now, hit me with it while we're on it. What was the where? Oh, what is my Bucks rule on Cruncher? For FanDuel, anytime I have Giannis, I'll only take a max of 1 Middleton or Bledsoe. You see 60 to 70 fantasy points for Giannis. Well, 65 is the number that worries me. That's where he needs to get to for him to be what I would call good. How am I liking Lopez on DK? I'm under the field as of right now. I have some. That's it. Why so high on Bledsoe? 1.1 fantasy points per minute. I think he plays 30 minutes, and I like his price point. I need to pop a bottle of champagne. PG or turd? I don't even know how to answer that. Thoughts on Mirotic? I have 5% Mirotic on FanDuel where we have him projected for 30. I have 1% on DraftKings where we have him projected for 20. So I assume that summarizes my thoughts on Mirotic for tonight. Look, I have him in for 22 minutes. I'm not entirely sure how much he plays. He could play 28 minutes. I have no concept of his rotations right now. It doesn't strike me as a spot where he gets like a ton of additional time. I could be wrong. But especially now with the addition of Gasol, where I expect him to get, or, he can get additional run, at the 5. There's only so many minutes to go around. So I may be wrong on Mirotic, but I'm willing to take my chances. Bledsoe is not low owned. He's lower owned. So let's hit Indiana. The implied total is kind of rough, 106.5. Bucks defense hasn't been too crazy lately from a fantasy perspective. The Pacers do get the benefit of a pace up spot. Miles Turner is probably one of my favorite guys on FanDuel relative to ownership. If we're right and we have 11% and he's in that range, I've got 28 right now. On FanDuel, if Miles Turner picks up a couple blocks, if he gets to 5, that's 15 fantasy points right there. He can really accumulate because of that extra point. So I like being above the field on Turner. And the key thing to remember, if there were 2 centers on FanDuel, I'd probably have like 50% Turner. But for right now, 28% is kind of a lot when it only gets the total 100. Thad Young is probably the guy that I'm playing the most across both sites. 6,600 on FanDuel, 5,700 on DK. He's chalky on FanDuel, 53%. I'm over that. He's 38% owned on DK. I'm double that. So I'm very heavy on Thad Young. I have been for a while now, but he plays the most minutes. This is a monster pace up spot, so it's just those little things that push him up. I'm quite a bit over the field on Darren Collison. I'm quite a bit over the field on Bojan on DraftKings at 6K. At FanDuel, I'm just kind of with the field. That $7,700 price tag is ludicrous. Miles Turner on DK at 24%. I'm about double that. I'm kind of loading up on Indiana, which is scary, to say the least. I've got 27% Corey Joseph on FanDuel. That is mostly just a salary play. And then, as you guys saw previously, I've got quite a bit of Tyreek Evans, and he is essentially just a flat min punt play for me. My goal is to get as much money as I can to spend on the other 8 positions. And today, that means quite a bit of Tyreek Evans. On DK, there's not much after Bojan, so I have a lot of Turner, Young, Collison, Bojan. Wes Matthews at 20%, slightly under the field. I am not really on anyone else. So that's my Pacers outlook for right now. Let's head on over to Portland. Trailblazers hosting the Thunder, 118 implied total for the Blazers, 114.5 for the Thunder. Blazers defense has really been fantastic over the past month or month and a half, over the last 15 games that they've played. They currently rank second overall in the league in terms of limiting fantasy production over their last 15 games. So the guy that I'm very interested in. Or they are a team that I'm not very interested in playing against. And that a lot of that is shining through in my Russ exposure. So monster pace up spot for the Blazers. And this is the team that I'm unloading on. Dame Lillard, 9,800 on FanDuel, 8,100 on DK. He's very chalky, 50%-ish. And I'm going to try to be a little bit over those numbers, both sites. Nurkic, I'm right with the field on FanDuel. I'm right with the field on DK. McCollum, right with the field and right with the field. Aminu, same scenario. I'm underweight on Cantor. Right now, I'm underweight on Harkless on FanDuel. On DraftKings right now, I am right with the field. That might be something that I go in. Laffy and I talked about it in our show this morning. About offloading some exposure of Aminu to Harkless. They should probably be a little closer, and that's something I'm going to take a look at. And then Jake Layman is getting used as a full-on punt for me, 3,700, and I'll probably be over the field as well. Jay Goods, I'll get to shooting guard on FanDuel as a whole in a second once I finish off this game. It's really hard for me to get away from Lillard, Nurkic, McCollum. On FanDuel, I set a rule to only have one of Nurkic or McCollum if I have Dame. On DraftKings, I just said 2 of 3. For the Oklahoma City side, I think I've made my stance public here. We have Russell Westbrook projected for 37% ownership on FanDuel. I've got 5. We've got him projected for 28% ownership on DraftKings. I've got 1. So Russ is the guy that I am avoiding. I don't like that whatsoever, but road game in Portland, late start. I'm gonna hope for the best. Paul George, on the other hand, I'm diving in head first. We've got him at 45% ownership on FanDuel. I'm at the 61% mark. On DraftKings, we've got him at 50. I've got 78. I'm just absolutely unloading on Paul George. He's going to have a very big part of my night tonight. After that, neutral on Adams, a little heavier on Schroeder on FanDuel, not much on DraftKings. That's just mostly a positional constraint. Similarly, Jeremy Grant, quite a bit on FanDuel, not as much on DK. Again, positional constraint. There's basically 3 power forwards that are worthwhile today. So if you don't really like power forward a lot, don't be afraid to double punt if you can fit it in. Terrence Ferguson getting some love for me at 3,500 on FanDuel solely because of his salary. That's all. What are we talking about there? Alrighty. So I've taken a look through everything. Those are all my exposures. Those are all of my thoughts on most of these guys. Yeah. So X-Cossack, you make a good point. Fade the 50% owned guy and play Westbrook. And I get it. And I get where you're coming from. The problem is, I simply don't see enough value to make it worth it. I think that my Paul George plus X versus Russell Westbrook plus Y lineups will be better because I can access more points. I think that Russ is slightly overpriced for right now relative to the rest of the field. When I calculated out my value or my target scores for today, I can't get to guys like that on DK, Russ, and Giannis because there's not enough at the bottom end. If like one guy broke off, I think that it would open it up a lot. But for right now, I just can't find it. Yeah, my goal is not to win because of PG. My goal is to win because of, I don't know, what would be a good example? I don't know, Miles Turner, Darren Collison. Like, those are the guys that are my differentiators. Granted, I'm over the field, but if Paul George puts up 50, that probably works for me in the grand scheme of things. I'll lose if PG-13 goes off for 66 or 80 like the last two. Now, I'm pretty sure I'll win in that scenario. Look, I could be wrong, guys. It's possible to play Dame plus Westbrook and PG. Yeah. I have a lot of Dame plus PG. I just don't have a lot of Russ. Well, that's just where I'm at. You know, you're not going to get a lot of people doing this sort of thing, being like, yeah, I just don't have Russell Westbrook tonight. It's just not a conversation that's happening. I can just tell you what I'm doing. That's all. I'll be here in the morning tomorrow with Adam, either eating crow or with a shit-eating grin on my face. But I find it really, really difficult to get to those guys. Is there a way to build Giannis and George? I assume I have. FanDuel or DraftKings? Wow, you like the value today. That's kind of crazy. Any Kyle O'Quinn on FanDuel? That's coming from Premium Slack, which I need to pay attention to. I assume I don't. No, I do. 5% Kyle O'Quinn. There you go. Premium Slack, by the way. Get your questions in now. We've got 27 minutes to go before lock, and I've got nothing but time on my hands, barring some sort of outlandish late news. Which, by the way, if it happens, I'm going to be real pissed. Yeah, 5% Kyle O'Quinn on FanDuel. Not too enamored, clearly. You could be right, Dex Gossick. Could be right. I wish your name was like Jim or something. It'd be a lot easier to say. Russ just grades out so poorly for me. Like, it makes it, I don't even see them as comparable. Tyler Tinsley, I would assume that I have multiple 2-punt lineups. Layman on DK. I have one lineup with Jake Layman on DraftKings. Yeah, Sean V. Well, if Tyreek Evans breaks the slate, I might not know it on DraftKings, but I'll certainly know it on FanDuel. Adams and Mo Harkless or Turner and Aminu in cash. You didn't tell me which site you're playing on. Hood, a good pivot from Pat Connaughton on DraftKings. Yeah, absolutely. So, oh my God, Connaughton's at 30 minutes, huh? Or 30% ownership. Yeah, Hood is I think Rodney Hood is better than Pat Connaughton tonight. How's that? Will I play Seth Curry? Which site? Look, Ilyasova could be good. Having Gasol there now kind of muddies up the waters. Who's my low-end guy with my highest ownership on DraftKings? Depends what you mean by. Low-end is Aminu. Jesus, Kywin. Okay. Adams and Harkless or Turner and Aminu in Yahoo Cash. Adams and Harkless. Adams. -8, -11. So -9. Turner and Miles Turner, imagine. So 11 and 8, 19. Turner. Who is 8? Turner and Aminu. That is the answer for Kywin. I think Russ's ownership is lower because he's been burning people. No, I think his ownership is lower because he's really difficult to get to in a good lineup. Any thoughts on Corey Joseph and Collison in the same line on FanDuel? Collison at 7K, Kojo at 11. So what you're looking for is 40 and 20. You need 65 out of the two of them. It's doable. I don't like the idea of taking both of those guys when they're 10-point underdogs, and I don't see Corey Joseph's path to minutes with Tyreek healthy. So it's not something that I really advocate for. Depends how many lineups you're playing. It certainly wouldn't be in one that I built manually. That's a bad narrative there. Dame doesn't play defense much like Harden. Harden plays defense. He's just not particularly good at it, but he's decent in the post. They just switch everything so he doesn't have to be involved in matchups. How much Kojo on FanDuel do I have? 27% right now. RG guys on Sirius hate Thaddeus Young tonight. Well, don't worry. The Sirius guys on this weekend will hate RG. Shout out to Laffy. Is it optimal to stack? Is it optimal to do 2-game stack lineups? Yeah, so on a 2-game slate, it's more advantageous to have a lot of one game in one particular lineup, because the impact of one game is so much higher. If one of these games goes to overtime, it's a massive increase to the starters. Or if one of these games craters from a defensive standpoint, it has, it's 50% of the slate instead of it being 10%. And that relative piece is huge. Damn, 10 dislikes. That's the most I've ever seen. Yeah, it happens. Adams or Turner, raw points. Probably Turner, right? Why are you asking me that? I post that stuff to the website. Let's see. What else we got here? Hood or Cantor on DK? Cantor, but I don't like it. We always like Draymond at Portland. Should we not like Grant the same? I do not think that Jeremy Grant and Draymond Green are particularly good comps. Jeremy Grant is like the homeless man's version of Draymond Green. Haven't heard anybody mention Matthews all day. I have 47% Wes Matthews on FanDuel and 20 on DraftKings. Yeah, Kicks good. Nailed that one. Any rules for the Pacers on DK? No. I don't have any. Am I worried about raw points with not having a lot of Russ? No, I am not. Well, I mean, I'm worried about Russ breaking off, but no. I like Thad Dad more than Adams. I like Thad more than I like anybody on this slate. Well, ex Cossack, here we are. You're fading Thad. I don't like Russ. One of us will do well tonight. Lopez or Adams on FanDuel? Adams. Actually, you know what? I don't know the answer to that. 3. It's almost assuredly Adams. Yeah, Adams. Not close for me. Well, at least we're getting no news. That's helpful. Am I lighting money on fire, fading Russ on a 2-game slate? The answer is yes. We're going to find out. Look, I've done this before. It worked out poorly. Look, here's the deal. Through everything that I've looked at, he hasn't graded out well for me. And even when I run a crunch, even when I crunch 250 lineups on DraftKings, I don't get all that much of him. So I'll take my stand, and I'll go under on him. We'll find out. But I won't be the guy that sits here and tells you to play everybody. I can't do it. So you get the truth out of me. Whether that's good or bad. But you'll never get anything other than the truth. McCollum, Bogdan, or Young? By Bogdan, do you mean Boyan? Or are you just not writing all of Bogdanovich? Look, Thad is mostly just a minutes play. If this game stays close, Thad Young plays 34 minutes. So in a pace up spot, I'll take it at a point per minute. Cantor projected to be the chalk center option on FanDuel. You are in premium Slack right now. You can look at that. Yeah, if there's late news tonight, like 30 seconds after lock, we're gonna have to burn it down. Why Josh wear a backwards hat? He's too old to be looking like a middle schooler. From the name Donald Trump. Sure. Young or Turner raw points? Turner. Will I play Seth? Seth? I assume that word is supposed to be Seth. No, I won't. Jonathan, or you, Antoine? That killed me right there. Where are we at now? Man, 7:45. Get your questions in, people. I'll answer just about anything you want at this point. Josh, how many times have I won the DK main slate for 100 grand? 0. Yeah, the answer there is 0. Trust me, you'll know when it happens. Do I like Klondike bars? I haven't had one in a while. I'm not entirely sure what I would do for one either. Turner, my highest owned center on FanDuel. That's a good question. I don't actually know the answer to that. My highest owned center on FanDuel is, yes, Miles Turner, 28%. Although I have Nurkic at 27 and Steven Adams at 17. So it's not as if I'm terribly far away from those guys. Eat dry cereal out of your hat, bro. Tell you why Sumner is going to break the slate? I don't even think he's active. Thoughts on Man U? Okay, I'll give it 30 seconds. As a Liverpool fan, I have it in my DNA to simply hate Manchester United. I want them to lose in everything they do. I do not like them whatsoever, no matter what. However, I think it's a handball. I don't mind the call. It's crazy that they went through. Most I've ever won in a GPP is 10 grand. I don't play big tournaments, particularly in the last year. There's too much going on behind the scenes for me to really be invested, especially when I do live streams. It's really a process. I don't like having a lot out there when I'm live. But yeah, on days that I'm not live, I can play like normal. I like doing this just because I don't then have to do something else for work. So I would never play again and be okay with it. Does a month package on Osmo last 30 days or the month, or how does it work? 30 days. Well, I think it goes like, date to date. So, or maybe it's I honestly don't know. It's not like September 1st to It's not like September 1st to September 30th or something like that. It's whatever day until basically like that day the next month. Speaking of soccer, anyone ever tell you that you look like Messi? You may look like Messi, but you play like shit. Sorry, that's my major league for the day. What else we got here? Thoughts on thoughts? Nothing. How many Blazers is too many? I don't know. 5? CJ, Aminu, Cantor, Harkless, Grant, Nurkic. Harkless, Grant, Nurkic, just so you don't have those three. Yeah, Harkless, Grant, Nurkic. It's going to be really hard for CJ and Aminu to get there with Cantor. That won't happen. Don't need anything else there. What else we got? Thoughts on TJ Leaf or Noel in the DKGPP? Noel, I'm in for. TJ Leaf, I would not touch whatsoever. Is 4 Blazers too many? No, but that's probably the most that I would do. You grow your beard out for a month, I'll promote you to all 5 of my friends. I love it. Favorite movie growing up was Major League. I was starting to like you for a bit, but the fact that you qualified that, it should still be your favorite movie. What's changed? It gets better with age. It's like my wine. Oh, BBB Brian, run through your spreadsheet columns real quick. What is each telling you? I can do that right now. Now, this is a different page, but this is my summary table. This is the amount of lineups I have people in. Let's call them BI. The corresponding percentage. This is sort of a metric that I look at that shows their player's projection over the lowest guy I have projected that I would put in my player pool. This is just a place where I set minimum and maximum caps for my solver crunch. This is a place that automatically calculates them so I can paste into this spot. This is the optimal amount of lineups I would have a guy in if everyone were able to hit my target percentage. It's really hard to do that in an optimizer, so you have to have some wiggle room. So I like to bounce back and forth and look at them. Clearly salary, this is my target score percentage. how often I think someone hits a target score weighted for their position, expected ownership. We've got target score minus expected ownership. So my view on whether or not I like someone or don't like someone. This is my ownership compared to expected ownership. So how much I'm actually over or under the field. And then we've got position, team, and this is how much I got in all 250 lineups that I crunched. So I crunched out 68% Thad over 250 lineups. But by paring that down to 150, I actually got up to 78% Thad. Odds that Westbrook and George are in the winning lineup together, close to zero. I don't know, 5%, 10%, something like that. Very low. It's a really hard fit. Depends which site. Josh, you have a problem with Trump. I don't follow politics in any way, shape, or form. I just simply try not to care. It doesn't really get me anywhere. Do you use Osmo's rankings? And if so, what letter combinations are you looking for? I use them for a sense check. It's not so much that I'm looking for any specific combinations. I mean, obviously A's and B's are great. I'm not super familiar with them because I didn't get a lot of those in college. I would probably say I would steer clear of anything below a C of value, unless they have an A points rating. But every day is different. Why do I wear a backwards hat? I don't know. I like hats. They look better backwards. Do you get the spreadsheet with your membership to Osmo, Ramsey? No, you do not. It wouldn't matter. I could give this spreadsheet to every single person in Slack right now. It would get you nowhere. All of the relevant information happens outside of this sheet. It basically just looks the way that it does because I share it on the screen. I make it way more visually appealing, which makes it look way more complex than it is. Am I excited for MLB? I'm excited to just play a different sport. I'm not excited for like 6 months of baseball. It is easier, though, from a lifestyle perspective. What did I major in college? Finance with a minor in economics. Chance someone wins a GPP without Russ, PG, or Giannis? Essentially zero, I would say. If you would have left PG out of there, it would have been really interesting. Dame is a free square on tier 2 tonight on DK. I don't have any idea who else is in tier 2, but no one's a free square. What college did I go to? I went to Kutztown University, the state school in Pennsylvania, also the home of Hall of Fame wide receiver Andre Reed and former linebacker for the Denver Broncos, John Mobley. And one-time New York Dragon backup quarterback in the Arena Football League, Kyle Spots. No one will get that. That's fine by me. Jim W. I assume you mean dark blue. Now that guy, he disappeared. I don't know who he ever ended up, where he ended up being. So what do I upload to Fantasy Cruncher? I upload name, projection, randomness, my exposure cap, and our projected ownership. Jarrett, you went to Kutztown? Not far from Allentown. My friend went to Kutztown. Yeah, my parents live about 35 minutes from Allentown. I lived in Pennsylvania up until 2009, and then I moved to North Carolina. CultureCon. You went to Kutztown too. Well, then we got two people in here that have terrible, terrible education. Kutztown doesn't sound like a real... That's not how it's spelled, but you're right. It is barely a real school. I graduated with a 2.00 on the dot. How did I end up in Wilmington? I had a friend that moved down here, so I came down to visit before I graduated. It looked pretty nice. Knew that I wanted to move somewhere after I graduated, so I just picked up and moved. Didn't hurt that they filmed Dawson's Creek and One Tree Hill here. Any chance you could add a row in my projections for expected ownership for ease of use? If you mean on the website, the answer is no. They would just end up not updated based on what's on the site. If you mean in my sheet, then it's already there. Damn, that's a hella low GPA. Yeah, here's the deal. I didn't really care all that much about college. Oh, Harkless or Matthews, DK, GPP already have Dame, CJ, and Aminu. You know the answer then. It's Matthews. It's not even remotely close either. It's Matthews regardless. But if you already have those three guys, it's certainly Matthews. It doesn't matter what your grades are if you go to a garbage school. If I go to Harvard, I'm gonna want good grades. If I go to Kutztown, no one gives a shit. When I moved to North Carolina and told people that I graduated from Kutztown, basically people were just like, okay, he went to college. No one cares. No one cares at all. A 2.0 GPA says I did. Yeah, I didn't care. I never went to class. I stayed home, played poker, played Halo, and got absolutely bombed like 5 days a week. It was awesome. It was the greatest 6 years of my life. GPAs only matter if you go to real schools. Most people don't. They just put themselves in painstaking debt instead of going to state schools for garbage degrees. You think I need my finance degree right now to sit here and do this? What did I do after winning 10K in a GPP? Did I party at all? No, I probably just blew it. I had to get a B on my... I've told this story, I think, on the podcast before. I had to get a B on the last final I took just to graduate. Hit it on the dot. Stuck the landing like Kerry Strug. They're D2. Get your questions in, people. 2 more minutes. On FanDuel, would you punt a position? Yeah, I do it all the time. Sometimes more than once. It's a fun show. I just kind of like to hear myself talk. What else is new? Yes, GPA matters if you go on to grad school for a PhD. Also, don't do that unless someone else is paying for it. Poker Stars or Full Tilt back in the day. I started on Pacific Poker and Paradise Poker. That was my senior year of high school, so 2003. I basically stayed on Pacific until Full Tilt opened, and then it was Full Tilt in Pacific. Bounced around to a couple others. I am not Ogre from Revenge of the Nerds, Rabashua. Can I repeat which columns I uploaded to Fantasy Cruncher? Yes. Name, projection, randomness, exposure. Every one that it shows you, plus I add our ownership projection. Hot dog. Is it a sandwich? Yes. Favorite sneaky play in a DK GPP? Who's the guy I have the most over the field that's low owned? I don't have anybody that's like super duper sneaky. I'm not over the field on anybody like that. I don't have one. Sorry. We are locked. 8 p.m. Is this my full-time job? Because I'd be a killer lunch lady at a middle school in Midwest America. It is my full-time job. I do nothing but do work for Awesemo.com. And let me tell you what, everybody. It's the best job in the world. Thoughts on the PSG game yesterday? Yeah, I touched on that earlier. I think it's a handball, so I don't mind, and that is coming from someone that hates Manchester United with a raging passion. Let's take a quick look at some DraftKings exposures, and then we'll go. What was my Full Tilt screen name? Good God. I mean, I generally use Josh Engelman for everything. I'm Josh Engelman on FanDuel, DraftKings. Basically anything that I do, I'm Josh Engelman. I assume I was Josh Engelman, but in college, I could have just as easily been something else that's stupid. Was my wife cool with me switching to Awesemo? Yes, she was. Does Awesemo pay good? Yes, they pay me. They pay me exactly what I would like them to pay me to do this job. Should someone go to college if they're not business savvy? Yes, just don't go to a college that costs a lot of money. Mark Cuban had a tweet about the cost of college once that I really agreed with. I'll never be able to find it, but how did I end up working for Osimo? That's a good question. Easy answer. I started my own YouTube channel and I used my website, joshengelman.com. And I was doing these exact same videos. I'd do a strategy show in the morning. I'd put it out at like 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning. I would go to the office and go to my day job. I'd work a day, come home, update all of my stuff again, and then do a live before lock show. I did that for about a year. Osimo.com started. They put out a call for content, and I just said, hey, here are my details. I'm really into this. This is me. Here's me. Here's everything that I've done. I'm also holding down a full-time job. Married, don't have any kids. I assume this sounds like a pretty good package. It took us like 3 days to figure it out. I think I first talked to Tom and Alex on a Wednesday, and I think I quit my job on Friday. Any suggestions on how much almond butter I should ingest daily? I can't eat it, so 0 for me. I don't eat almonds. Sounds like I'm single. I am not single. I've been married for what will be 5 years in May, and I'll be with her for 10 total years in July. Yeah, if anybody is interested in joining Osimo, we will always, take a look. If you send, you can see the message in chat, but send any resumes or writing samples to support@osimo.com if you're interested. We always have interest in must have a GPA over 2.0. See, if you had that sort of qualification, you wouldn't have the best piece of this right now. I'd be at home just like, man, I'm still working at this dead-end job because nobody will take me with my 2.0. Show that you have a work ethic. Show that you have something to offer. That's a lot of it. All right, guys, that is going to be it. The wife is off to Boston tomorrow morning, so I'm not going to see her for 6 days. So as much as I love hanging out with our Slack subs and YouTube chat, I'm going to need to get out of here, go hang out with the wife. So best of luck, everybody. I greatly appreciate you being here with me today. The fact that we were able to get up to 1,100 people on this 2-game slate is a testament to how great you guys are. So thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Adam and I will be back in the morning. So if you want to check us out, come on in. Adios, guys. Thanks.